557 points behind. In the Sportsman, Colby Lambert, 520 points leading the way. Adam Petty is 69 points behind Colby Lambert. Tyler Almeida, 79 points behind. Josh Hedges, 87 points behind. Doug Benoit, 95 points behind. And Scott Serdinsky Jr., 102 points behind. And in the Pro Stocks, Vinny Arenagato, 472 points leading the way, 12 points ahead of Bobby Pellin, 18 points behind Dylan Estrella. As we get set, here we go for our Spectator Drags. Carl Baxter, Gil Bradstreet out there. Checkered flag in the air. Gil Bradstreet going to move on. Our second group of competitors up, set to go. You've got the Audi S4 2013, Brandon Gerard matching up against Walter Wickenbach the fourth here from Warren, Rhode Island in his 1984 Chevy Camaro. They are at the stripe. They are set to go. Tim Bolduck and Steve Bowden down there. Green flag out. Brennan Gerard, he's down into 1 and 2 with the advantage over Wickenbach the fourth down the backstretch. Gerard into 3 and 4. He's got the advantage. Wickenbach gets loose there. Holds on to it. Checkered flag out. Gerard going to move on. Bringing up Michael Oliveira from Pawtucket, Rhode Island in the Pontiac Firebird of 1989. And he's matching up against Robert Gingras from Mattapoisett in the Ford F pickup truck 1949 here. Oliveira going to take the low line at the stripe. Gingras going to be up top. They're at the stripe. They're set to go. Green flag in the air. Oliveira gets a good jump down into 1 and 2. Gingras right to the back bumper. He's going to try to make a move, go high here into 3 and 4, looking for it. He is going to take the lead. Off of 4 across the stripe. Gingras going to take home the win there and move on. Next matchup, Walter Wickenbach III from Warren, Rhode Island. Matching up against Scott Crosley from Lincoln, Vermont. Crosley in that 1986 Firebird. Wickenbach in the 1988 Pontiac Trans Am. They are at the stripe. Green flag in the air. Down into 1 and 2. Give the advantage to Crosley, but not so fast. Here comes Wickenbach. Wickenbach got his hands full. He's going to save it on the backstretch. Crosley into 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Crosley going to move on. What a save there by Wickenbach on the backstretch. Inches from that outside wall. Matt DeRosiers in the 1984 Chevy Camaro. Sean Fitzgerald in the 1985 Chevy Corvette. That is your next matchup. At the stripe, waiting on the green. Green is out, set to go, down into 1 and 2. DeRosiers on the high line, jumps out to the advantage. Off of turn 2, down the backstretch. Matt DeRosiers, he has the lead over Sean Fitzgerald. Off of 4, checkered flag in the air. Matt DeRosiers moving on. That's going to bring up Jen Bucher in the Black Subi Impreza 2008. Matching up against John Fielding from Westport, 1998 Chevy Camaro. Bucher going to take the low line. Fielding on the high line. At the stripe, set to go. That Subi has been impressive. Fielding also been impressive this season. Jen Bucher, she has the advantage down into 1 and 2. Down the backstretch. Fielding right at the back bumper. Bucher with the lead. Into 3 and 4. Fielding going to try to go low. He's going to try to make a move. Not enough time. Jen, not for a lack of trying there. Great effort. Almost had it at the stripe. Here comes Franz Weidinger from Smithfield, Rhode Island in the 1994 Pontiac Trans Am. Corey Perry, 1997 Pontiac Firebird from Swansea, Mass. That is your next matchup. Perry on the high line. Weidinger on the bottom line there. At the stripe, set to go. Green is out. Give the advantage off the stripe to Weidinger. Down into 1 and 2. Franz Weidinger, he has the lead. Perry right to the back bumper. Down the back stretch here. Into 3 and 4. A move for Perry on the outside. Off of turn number 4. Franz Weidinger holds on. He'll move on. Here comes Jeff Daniels. 2007 Subaru Outback. Christine Pierce. Chevy Camaro, 1978, the Red Dragon. Had her first podium here just a couple of weeks ago. See if she can get back there. Daniels, Pierce, at the stripe, set to go. Green is out. Jeff Daniels on the low line in that Subaru. Gets the advantage down into 1 and 2. Off of 2, down the backstretch. Jeff Daniels, smooth sailing, cruising down into 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Jeff Daniels going to move on. Here comes Paul Curtis from Centerville, Mass. in his 1964 Chevy Chevelle. Tom Kazunas, 1984 Chevy C10 pickup truck. Battle of the heavy hitters here in our East Coast Towing and Recovery Spectator Drags. Kazunas from Wakefield, Rhode Island. He's got the high line. Curtis has the low line. At the stripe, set to go. Green flag in the air. Into turn 1, give the advantage to Curtis. Kazunas battling back. Kazunas is loose in 1 and 2. He holds on to it. Down the back stretch. Into 3 and 4. Paul Curtis, smooth sailing. He's out front. Checkered flag in the air. Paul Curtis going to move on.
If I could have your attention, please, will the owner of license plate 5CB930. Again, license plate 5 Charlie Baker 930. Please go to your vehicle immediately.
Here we go. Kyle Buchanan from Seekonk in the 1981 Chevy Malibu. Matching up against Nicholas Whiteway from Torrington, Connecticut in the 2007 Chevy Cobalt. Steve Bowden directing traffic at the stripe. Gets things in order. Gets ready to clear the track. Set to go. Battle of the Chevys here. Green out. Buchanan gets a good jump on the high line. Down into 1 and 2. Kyle Buchanan with the lead off of 2. Down the backstretch. Into 3 and 4. Smooth sailing. Kyle Buchanan off of 4. Checkered flag in the air. Kyle. 1986 Chevy Camaro for John Johnson from right here in Seekonk. Going up against a 1984 Chevy Caprice. That's Chris Bailey from Southeastern Mass. Bailey going to have the high line, Johnson with the low line. Not so fast. John Johnson with an early jump there. Going to have to back it up. Green flag out. Johnson gets a good jump down into 1 and 2. John Johnson leading the way. Calm, cool, collective into 3 and 4. Almost like he's out for a Sunday drive. Off of turn 4. Checkered flag in the air. John Johnson going to move on. That's going to bring up Jonathan Stevens from Melrose in the 2005 Subaru Forester. Matching up against David Medeiros, 1982 Chevy Camaro from Berkeley, Mass. At the stripe. Ready to roll. Green flag out. Down into turn 1. Stevens with the advantage. Down the backstretch. Here comes Medeiros with a good little head of steam there off of 2. Into 3 and 4. Will it be enough? He's got the low line. Stevens goes up the high side at the stripe. Wow, that was a photo finish. I believe, as the official's going to signal down there in turn number 2, they're going to give it to Medeiros there. David Medeiros going to move on. Here comes one of the heavy hitters of the Spectator Drags this season, Carlito Mello from Uxbridge in his 1990 Eagle Talon against Jackson Decker, 1986 Chevy Camaro. Green flag out. Mello with a huge advantage. Down off of 2, down the backstretch. Carlito Mello, smooth sailing into turn 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Carlito Mello moving on once again. Next matchup, going to be Liam Monahan, 1989 Chevy Camaro from Rehoboth. Adam Matarosian, 1989 Pontiac Firebird. Green flag, right out of the gate. Monahan gets a good jump down into 1 and 2. He's got the lead over Matarosian down the backstretch. Into 3 and 4, Liam Monahan. Smooth sailing, checkered flag in the air, Liam Monahan moving on. It's going to bring up Gil Bradstreet and Brandon Gerard here again. Gerard, of course, in the Audi. Bradstreet in the Camaro. Bradstreet going to have the low line. Gerard, the high line. Green flag. Bradstreet gets a great jump down into turn number 1 and 2. Here comes that Audi with a head of steam. Down the backstretch, Bradstreet, he is your leader into 3 and 4. Not going to be enough time for Gerard in the Audi. Checkered flag in the air. Gilbrad.
And he is Audi here.
Here comes Robert Gingras and Scott Crosley. Gingras from Mattapoisett, 1949 Ford pickup truck here. Scott Crosley, Lincoln, Vermont, Pontiac Firebird, 1986, at the stripe, set to go. As we continue to whittle down the field. Green flag in the air, down into 1 and 2. Gingras by a nose right now. Here comes Crosley on the high line. He gets ahead of steam off 2, down into 3 and 4, but Gingras has the advantage, holding on to it. He gets out in front of Crosley. Checkered flag in the air. Matt DeRoches, Jen Bucher here. The next matchup. Jen Bucher, also from Lincoln, Vermont. Matt DeRoches from right down the road in Coventry, Rhode Island. At the stripe, Bucher on the low line. Green flag out. DeRoches on the high line. Give the advantage to Bucher. Down into 1 and 2. Off 2. DeRoches right there to the back bumper. Going to go to the high side here. Going to try to make a move. Bucher holding off every advance. Here comes DeRoches on the low line. Bucher gets high. DeRoches steals it at the stripe. Matt DeRoches going to move on. Franz Weidinger, Jeff Daniels, Subaru, Pontiac, the matchup here. Daniels chooses the high line. Weidinger on the low line. Green flag in the air. Daniels with a great jump. Down into 1 and 2. Here comes Weidinger battling on the low line, nose to nose, neck to neck, down the back stretch. Into turn 3 and 4. Daniels with the advantage. Here comes Weidinger, keeping it right to the bottom of the track. Checkered flag in the air. Daniels going to take the win there. Paul Curtis, Kyle Buchanan. Vintage Chevys out there. A 64 Chevelle, 81 Malibu. The aroma of burnt rubber fills the air here at Seekonk during our spectator drags. Buchanan on the high line, Curtis on the low line. Green flag in the air. Down into turn number 1. Buchanan with the nose advantage. Here comes Curtis battling back. Curtis has the nose advantage. Off of 2 down the back stretch. Give the advantage still to Paul Curtis. Into 3 and 4. He gets a little loose. Here comes Buchanan battling back. Blinkers on. They get close. They almost touch. Paul Curtis takes it home. That was a tight one. John Johnson, David Medeiros here. Your next matchup. Johnson in that white Chevy Camaro, 1986. Battling against Medeiros in the blue 1982 Chevy Camaro. Johnson on the low line, Medeiros on the high line. Green flag in the air. Here they go, down into turn number 1. Johnson with the advantage. Medeiros right to his back bumper, off of 2 down the back stretch. Johnson continues to lead. Medeiros, does he have anything for him? Going to have to prove it here. Going to try to go to the low line here. Going to try to cut through. Not enough time. Johnson. Liam Monahan, Carlito Mello. That is the next matchup here. Mello has been strong here in these spectator drags as of late. Monahan, 1989 Camaro. He's got the low line here. At the stripe, waiting on the green. Pause in the action here. Elmwood Dodge Chrysler safety team. Making their way out on the track here. As it looks like issues there for Johnson in the infield. Cleanup complete. Taking a moment to work that speedy dry in just a bit. And we are just about set. Monahan, Mello, the matchup. Green flag in the air. Carlito Mello, great jump. He gets the advantage. Down into turn number 1 and 2. Off of 2. Mello, smooth sailing out front. Off of turn 4, checkered flag in the air. Carlito Mello moves on. Continuing on, Gil Bradstreet going to make his way back out there against Robert Gingras. Green flag in the air. Gingras has the advantage. Bradstreet battling back on the high line, down the backstretch. Bradstreet going to jump out to the lead into 3 and 4. He gets loose. Does Gingras have anything for him? Gingras is loose. Off of 4, checkered flag in the air. Bradstreet holds on and moves on. Matt DeRoches and Jeff Daniels. They're at the stripe. They are set to go. Daniels has the high line. DeRoches has the low line. Green flag in the air. Down into turn number 1. DeRoches by a nose, but here comes Daniels battling back on the high line. Daniels gets a great jump off 2 down into 3. Daniels going to get loose. He holds on. DeRoches is the perfect opportunity. Wow, that was a close one yet again. Photo finish at the stripe. Subaru, Jeff Daniels going to get it and move on. That is going to bring up Carlito Mello and Paul Curtis. As John Johnson sidelined in the infield. Green flag in the air. Down into turn 1 and 2. Carlito Mello, smooth sailing over Paul Curtis into 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Carlito Mello going to move. So, Paul Curtis going to be racing for 3rd place here against whoever comes up just a bit short in this one. Gil Bradstreet, Jeff Daniels, green flag in the air. Give the advantage to Daniels. out front, down into 2. Here comes Bradstreet, right to the back bumper there. Does he have enough time? All over the back bumper of Daniels. Into 3 and 4. Checkered flag in the air. Daniel, Curtis, and Bradstreet going to battle for 3rd place here. Curtis in the 64 Chevelle, Bradstreet in the 89 Camaro. At the stripe, Curtis on the low line, Bradstreet up top. Green flag in the air. The advantage right now to Bradstreet. Down into turn 2. Curtis going to work his way up the racetrack. Try to see if that higher line has anything. Off of 4. Checkered flag in the air. Gil Bradstreet going to take home 3rd place as Curtis goes landscaping into the infield. Best 2 on a 3 here for our finale. Does Jeff Daniels have anything to stop Carlito Mello's dominance? Well, we're about to find out. Mello matching up against Daniels. Daniels in the 07 Subaru Outback. Race official Mario going over things down there with our competitors. Mello and Daniels going to make their way out onto the track. Best 2 out of 3. Daniels up top here. Mello down the bottom. Green flag in the air. Down into turn 1 and 2. Neck and neck. Mello with the advantage down the backstretch. Does Daniels have anything for him? We shall see. Into 3 and 4. Daniels comes in hot. Off of turn 4, Mello takes round 1. Mello going to have the high line here this time. Daniels with the low line at the stripe, set to go. Green out. Mello nose to nose with Daniels. Daniels down into turn number 1. He gets a little tightened up. Mello takes the advantage into 3 and 4. Mello out front, checkered flag in the air. Carlito Mello taking home the East Coast Towing and Recovery Spectator Drags yet again.
Great.
Well, he's getting awfully comfortable taking home that 1st place position here in our Spectator Drags. Feels like Groundhog's Day. Carlito Mello, another one. What'd you have out there tonight?
First of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for this moment to glorify him. Just the same old setup, basically. Yeah, that's about it.
Smooth sailing and continuing that dominance. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my girlfriend, Alyssa Hayes. She just sung the national anthem, did an awesome job. I want to thank my brother, Tyrese, and his soon-to-be bride, Haley, her grandparents. I want to thank her mom, dad, everybody who comes out here to watch. Mike Vincent, who tuned this car. Mike Silva built the engine. Zach Mello bought the car from him. He's my cousin. And thanks, everybody, for coming out.
Carlito Mello pick down. Jeff Daniels comes home in 2nd. What more did you need to get that 1st spot from Carlito?
Carlito's super fast. I mean, I gave it everything I had tonight. I think I just need to line up with him a few more times. I think if I drive a little better, I think I could take him.
Anybody you want to thank?
I'd like to thank my girlfriend, my parents for bringing out me here all the time when I was a kid. My shop, Valeni Subaru, for always letting me work on my car all the time. My tuner, Matt Miner. The dude is awesome. He knows his Subarus. Thank the fans for coming out tonight.
Making our way over, third place tonight, Gil Bradstreet. Back here on the podium. What'd you have for him out there tonight?
Not much for these all-wheel drive guys. These guys are fast. There's a couple great guys right here, though. Jeff, I mean, we've been racing together a long time, and I'm actually really, really excited to see him up here. Same with Carlito. He's a great, great guy. Very, very, very fierce competitors, though.
A lot of fun out there. What more do you need to maybe get a spot or two more next time out?
All-wheel drive. I mean, I gotta join the all-wheel drive club.
Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, Spar Racing, Gary from Spar, Gary Villa's Towing, and all my friends and family.
Gil Bradstreet coming home on the podium. Jeff